Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today is Tuesday, March 13th, and last week I posted a video on a Q&A that's coming soon. Well, that's this video, and I had a couple of you guys ask me some questions in the comment section, so we're just about to address these questions now. First question from Courtney. She says, do you plan on re-enlisting in the Navy? Currently, I am 3 years in, as you can tell from my 3-year anniversary video, and I signed up for a 4-year contract. Yes, I plan on re-enlisting only to match my PRD with my EAOS. So I'm going to re-enlist this October, November for 2 more years. So yes, the answer to your question. Next question is from the Naj Chronicles. She says, how do you maintain and keep a healthy relationship while in the military? To answer your question, it really calls for a good open slate of communication. Communication is key, especially in those times where you have distance between you and your spouse. You have to make sure you communicate, and you have to be open to understanding like the time schedules, because my work hours can fluctuate from days 1 month to nights 1 month to days 1 week to nights 1 week. Like, you never know. I'm working 12 to 8-hour shifts, maybe even 18 hours depending on what's going on that week, whether we have an exercise, etc., etc. So it comes to what am I trying to say? It's a lot of growing up that you have to do, and you have to understand that when it comes down to work, you know, let your spouse or significant other do what they gotta do, and as soon as they get the free time to talk to you, guarantee that it'll happen. Your next question was, what are 2 things you absolutely love about the Navy, and what are 2 things you strongly dislike? One thing, I love my paycheck. Me and the Navy have a love-hate relationship every mid-month and end-of-month paycheck. So I love my paycheck. And 2, I like the fact that, what am I trying to say? I like the fact that they have a program called tuition assistance. With tuition assistance, it basically pretty much pays for you to go to school. The only bad side to that, which is one of the dislikes that I don't like, is that they only pay for up to 16 credit hours, or up to $4,000 a year. So a normal student, like a full-time student, 16 credit hours is a whole semester from August to December. Whereas they're only allowed me to do 16 credits from October, which is the beginning of the fiscal year for the military, to October of that next year. So I can only use, so what a full-time student would do in 1 semester, I'm doing that in a full year, in a full 2 semesters. So that's another thing that I don't like about the Navy. Another thing that I don't like, the advancement, I guess. I don't like the test thing. So basically, you get an eval every year. On those evals, you accumulate points. On those points, then go to a test. You take a test, and those points are added to your test points, and then that basically determines whether or not you get advanced, depending on the quota and the percentage of people who will advance. I don't like that I have to take a written test to prove that I know my job. Like, if I know my job, I know my job. And my job has a lot of aspects to where some things that, so like, okay, I'm an IT. ITs can be message traffic kind of thing, where we're working with just messaging centers. It can deal with radio. It can deal with, just basic trouble ticket IT stuff, like what civilian world ITs would do. And I never been on a ship, so I don't have that hands-on experience with radio equipment. But the test asks all those aspects, where I only know 2 out of the 3, because I don't work with all of them all the time. So that's one thing that I don't like. I wish that they were more considerate to, I guess, test you on your knowledge based on what your command demands from you, if I'm trying to say that right. So that's another thing that I don't like. Another question I got from Courtney says, how do you like Maryland? I don't. I don't. The area is nice overall. I think the thing that I don't like about Maryland, which contradicts my entire childhood. So growing up, I grew up in Georgia, and I used to love snow. Love, 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 love snow. I used to beg my mom, can we fly to New York just so I can be in the snow and play in the snow with my cousins and stuff. And we would do it all the time. Well, not all the time, but like at least once a winter. It's March and it snowed yesterday, and I don't appreciate that. Granted, it didn't stick, but it's just like, it's March. Why are you still snowing? Like, can I get some nice warm weather yet? Like, the snow is getting old. Like, it's old. I'm over it. So that's what I don't like. And I don't like Maryland interstate, their interstate road system. Like, I'm getting on I-95, I think that's what the interstate is, and there's like 2 lanes, and then as soon as you merge on in less than 100 meters, people are trying to merge off. Like, you're asking for an accident, and I'm not used to that. Now, I know how to drive in crazy conditions because I was stationed in Korea prior to this, but I'm used to Atlanta where it's like 4-lane highway, 5-lane highway, just going in one direction, and you telling me now that it's only 2, and then I have to be careful trying to merge on because assholes won't let me over because they're trying to merge off. Like, it's annoying. That's what I don't like. Next question from Abilene Espinoza. Sorry if I got your name wrong. She says, hey, so a couple of questions. What is A school living like? Also, do you know much about females on submarines, such as the living situation and treatment? So I'm going to address your second question first. No. I don't know nothing about subs. I don't know anything about subculture. I could try to find out for you. I can try to find a female that's on a sub, but that's really rare for a female on. I mean, it's more common now, but I haven't met that many females. I've met a lot of men on subs, but I haven't met a lot of females that have been on a sub that I've met. I haven't spoken to any. So maybe I can find one for you and get some information for you, but I don't know anything about subs. I just know it's tight and they don't see sunlight for a while, and I'm surprised that shit don't drive them crazy, because that would drive me absolutely nuts. It's one thing to be on a boat and you don't see nothing but water and sun and sky and waves. It's another thing to just see water. Dark water. Like, I can't do it. To address your first question, what is A school living like? A school living reminded me a lot of college, minus the fact that there were kind of rules as well. Like, we had rules, but they weren't like as strict as boot camp kind of rules, but it was like college. You got a roommate, you go to school, you go to class, you come home. Then the only difference between college and A school was your room got inspected, because you had room inspections and stuff like that. But it honestly reminded me of college, to be honest. You had the weekends off, just like how you would in college if you had a 5-day school week. Your schools, depending on if you went to the Bravo shift or the Alpha shift. Alpha is day shift, Bravo is night shift. You're pretty much in school for 12 hours a day. It was like college all over again for me personally. That's how I feel about it. It had a little bit of rules, but it wasn't that extraneous to the point where I just hated it. But it is way more lenient than boot camp. Already, I'm so sorry if I'm messing up y'all's name. She asks, when you go to boot camp, do they do another physical like they do at MEPS with the doctor, or check you? So, when you so in MEPS, they're checking your skin, they're checking to see if you have marks, they're checking, it's a full body exam when you're in MEPS. When I got to boot camp, No, I'm gonna say no. There's not a physical that's like MEPS because all the issues were addressed, but there are other physicals that you have to do. So if you're a female and you've never had a pap smear and you're over the age of 21, they will give you one. Like, that's a physical. So they do check you, but not to the extent that MEPS do. And then if you, it's pretty much like you all are at the doctor's office all at once. So if there's any shots that you need, y'all are basically going like through an assembly line. So like y'all are going through an assembly line, people are standing on the left and right of you. And if you need a shot and that person has the shot, they're sticking you in the arm, the other person's sticking you in the other one, and you just keep walking forward and they just keep sticking you as you, like, depending on how many shots you need. If you only need one, obviously only one person is going to stick you. But if you've never had medical treatment and you need shots, best believe they're sticking your arm left and right as you walk down that aisle. So I hope I didn't scare a lot of you about needles. Another thing about needles in the military. So I personally, I hate shots. I just don't like it. But the military, they do not sympathize for your fear of needles, especially if you have a tattoo. If you have a tattoo, they looking at you like you are retarded. Why are you crying? I'm just doing a video. We can play when I'm finished. We can play when I'm finished. I promise. This is the protocol on tattoos. There's a big instruction on tattoos. Honestly, I feel like if it's not visible, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, if it's not visible in your uniform. So like if you got a thigh tattoo, but your N-dubs obviously cover that, they don't care. If you have a foot tattoo, obviously your boots cover that, or any type of shoes that you wear will cover that. They don't care. If you have a chest piece, as long as it's not visible through your collar shirt, they don't care. As far as, sit down. As far as visible tattoos go, I believe that you can have them now, but they're more restricted to palm sizing. So like, let's say I wanted like a hand tattoo, right? As long as my hand could cover it up both ways, it should be fine. I believe that's what the instruction says. Also, it can't be like any racial slurs, anything that deals with like a hate group. It can't be any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, but as far as tattoo goes, there's not really, I mean, you're in the Navy, like, it depends on when you get it, if the rule actually applies to you or not. Now I know some countries, the Navy rule says like they recommend you not to get one, or they even say it's like restricted to get a tattoo, being that they don't want you to get a tattoo and then they get infected because the country is like, I guess, not the cleanest or whatever. But I mean, to each his own. Like, that's on you if you get caught with that kind of tattoo. Like, if something happens and then you go to medical and they're like, well, your whole tattoo's infected, and you try to like get medical treatment for it, like, they didn't approve that you got that tattoo, so they're not responsible for that. So I mean, you'll have to go in detail. I'm pretty sure the instruction is unclassified, so you should just be able to go and look at it on Google. But if the tattoo's not visible itself, it doesn't really matter, so to say. The next question I have is from Evelyn Shacklin. How did the girls with natural hair do their hair in boot camp? My hair is more in the kinky side and is really thick. Would cornrows be the way to go? And also, how is the marriage process while in the military? Alright, so my hair is not on the kinky side, and my hair is obviously not really that thick. But a lot of my friends in boot camp did have that kind of texture of hair. And I mean, they did their hair just like anybody else would. I mean, you put your hair in a bun. They have products. I mean, I ain't telling you that the exchange when you go there is going to have Shea Moisture and Cantu and all this fancy hair products. But I mean, you get the shampoo, you get the conditioner, you can get leave-in conditioner, you can get gel, you can get oil, you can get a hard bristle brush, you can get a comb, like, and you, like, I don't know, I feel like if you already know how to do your hair outside of the military, all you're doing is going to put your hair in a bun every day, depending on how long it is. If your hair is not that long, if it's more on the shorter side and you wear your hair natural, like on a fro is acceptable. It just depending on how thick and how big your fro is, on whether or not you might need to go with cornrows or actually trying to put it in a bun. So it all depends on the person. So can you sit down? Can you sit down? Okay. So I would only recommend cornrows if you feel that'll be easier for you to maintain your hair. If that's not the easiest way, then by all means, I think you should just do what's easier for you. I've even seen girls go in with actual like individual braids or like micro braids. So I mean, it's up to you. And you said, and also, how is the marriage process while in the military? It depends on who you're marrying, for one. If you're marrying a foreign national, I mean, there's some background, and depending on your job and your job clearance, there's some background investigations that you need to go through. And as far as like marrying, like you're from America, he's from America, or she's from whatever your preference is, if they're just born in the United States, you kind of just get married, and then you make sure that that you let your command, or you let admin, first you let your command know, for one, that you're planning on getting married. Don't just up and just get married and then it's like a whole new thing. Somebody should know that you're getting married. Also, once you do get married, you get your marriage certificate, you need to make so many copies. So what I did when we got married, I bought multiple originals of my marriage certificate, so then that way if anything came up to where someone needed it, I just grabbed it and then they had it. There wasn't no, oh, you need to make a copy of that, I need that back. It was just here, boom, put my paperwork in the system, and we're gonna call it a day. And so you're gonna want to let admin know so you can update your DEERS. You're gonna want to update your SGLI. You're gonna want to update your page 2. And you're going to want to get them a dependent ID. And all that you can get taken care of at admin once you have all your paperwork. So it all depends on who you're marrying. If you're marrying a U.S. citizen, it's way easier process than if you're marrying a foreign national, or even just someone foreign altogether. Because I've seen a lot of people, they go on deployment in Japan for like 6 to 8 months, and then they up and married within the first 3 to 4. So it all depends. You can make that process easier or harder for you depending on whoever you fall in love with, but all you have to do is just let somebody know, and then you just have the proper documentation that you need so they can be added to your benefits. And it's just that simple. 2 more questions and we will conclude this video. Once again, the Naja Chronicles, she asked another question saying, friends in the military. So, my best friend Jordan, who was in the last vlog, I met her in boot camp. So she was originally a reservist for the Navy, and we have the same exact job actually. She's in IT, I'm in IT, she's just on the reservist side. We met in boot camp, and obviously we went to A school together. And we spent literally a total of 9 months every day, sun up, sundown, together. Personally, I feel like the friends that you make in the military are probably going to be the ones that you keep for a lifetime. I'm only saying this because they know the struggle that you've been through. They understand like your working schedule. They go through all that hard, stressful, like they're with you every step of the way. Especially she was with me literally So I actually got to boot camp February 9th. If I'm correct, I think she got there either February 11th or February 12th. She got there like a day or two, maybe 3 days after I got there. And we've been attached to the hip like ever since. Like, we went through everything together, from getting the shots and at the medical, getting examinations, getting dropped because our division didn't do what we were told to do, getting advanced together, graduating boot camp. We literally did everything together. Like, I feel like if you make friends in the military, those would be like your strongest bonds that you ever make. And I say friends because there are some people that you're gonna hang out with and you're gonna be like, damn, you still petty as fuck. Like, you still act like you in high school. Like, I ain't got time to deal with that. Now, I have met some childish ass people, but I mean, you only entertain what you expect out of each other. So personally, I didn't entertain certain behaviors from certain people, so I don't consider them my friends. Now, we might have done things, and then after I seen your true colors, I'm just like, yeah, that's not what I'm about, so let me just distance myself. There's no bad blood or nothing, but I'm gonna just distance myself because that's not what I'm looking for while I'm here. Like, I'm here to make this paper, and I'm going to school, and then I'm gonna get out. Like, it's just that simple. I'm here for one reason and one reason only. And I feel like me and Jordan had that same mindset. She was there to grab the bag, get the free college tuition, and then bounce. Now, she made a lifelong friend in the end of it, but I mean, we came there to do one thing, and that's what we did. And she can't get rid of me. Personally, I feel like she can't get rid of me. The Naj Chronicles also said, life after A school. How would you describe that? So, some people are excited after A school. I mean, if you get those orders that you really want. Other people, if I do say so myself, they're terrified because you don't know what to expect. Like, it's one thing for me to expect something when I'm going to Norfolk or Cali or Texas or Maryland or going back to Georgia, South Carolina, some state in the United States. I had family in all of those states that I just named. So it was like, if anything happened, you know, all I had to do was pick up the phone, and it didn't take nothing but maybe an hour or 2 hours for somebody to get to me. Whereas I'm on the whole other side of the country, and I didn't know what to expect. I did my research, but I mean, really, like, how much can Google really tell you what to expect when you're going from one side of the world to the other? Like, it told me a little bit, but it didn't tell me everything that I wanted to know. So, I mean, I was terrified, but that's just me personally. I know some people get really excited. Like, my god sister, she's in the Army. She got orders to Hawaii, and I knew that bitch is having the time of her fucking life. Hawaii expensive as hell. I done been down there, but it's just like, girl, you in Hawaii. Like, you can't be mad. Like, you can't be mad. Like, the only thing you can be mad at is that ticket back from Hawaii to Atlanta. Like, that's the only thing you can be mad at. But I mean, everybody has their different experiences, so life after A school is literally totally up to you. Now, as far as how the command is, so as you progress through your Navy career, you learn the leniency, how much more things are more lenient as you progress. So, like, boot camp is like really strict. It's basically they tell you what to eat, say, sleep, drink, when to wake up, how to dress, how to walk, how to talk. Like, they tell you everything. Like, I feel like I was in prison when I was there, but they tell you everything when you're in boot camp. And then in A school, it's just like, all right, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna make up your bed, you can still have the weekends to yourself, but you can't go here, or do this type of activity, which ain't that really bad. I still have so much of my freedom. And then when you go to your actual command, it's just like, here's curfew, no drinking underage. If you're drinking, don't drink and drive. Don't kill nobody. Know who to contact if some shit pops off. Like, that's pretty much it. I don't really know how to explain it. So if you want to know how strict life gets after A school, it doesn't. Now, unless you fuck up and you end up getting sent the mask or something like that, then that's a different story. Then they're gonna be on your ass. But they do treat you like an adult as you leave boot camp, A school, and get to your first command. They do start treating you like an adult. So you guys, those are all the questions that I've taken. So I'm going to conclude this video at this point.